What if I told you that everything you've been taught about how the world works is a lie? A carefully constructed illusion designed to keep you predictable, weak, and easy to control. That beneath the surface of civility, morality, and kindness lies a brutal game of power, manipulation, and survival. Would you be willing to see the truth, or would you deny it, clinging to the comfort of ignorance? Ask yourself, why do we celebrate honesty and virtue as the highest ideals, yet reward those who deceive, manipulate, and dominate? Why do the most successful, influential, and respected figures in history rarely fit the mold of the nice guy? Is it possible that morality itself is a tool, one wielded by the powerful to maintain their control, while the rest of us are told to play nice and stay obedient? Consider the signs. Maybe you've noticed that people don't follow facts, they follow feelings. That promises are broken when convenient, and loyalty is a game of strategic calculation rather than virtue. Perhaps you've felt that genuine respect is reserved for those who appear strong, unshakable, and fearless, while kindness and niceness often breed resentment or invisibility. Do you recognize the subtle ways in which society rewards the ruthless and the cunning, while condemning the bold and the assertive? This journey I invite you on will peel back the layers of deception and reveal the dark laws that govern human interaction. Laws that most will never see because they're too busy chasing illusions. We will explore how power is maintained not through fairness or morality, but through fear, reputation, and emotional influence. You'll learn how leaders, predators, and manipulators craft their dominance by mastering the art of perception, shaping emotions rather than facts, controlling trust instead of earning it, and balancing fear and reward to keep others in check. The world isn't a place of rational choice and virtue. It's a battlefield of instinct and emotion. The weak attract predators because weakness is a beacon, blood in the water for wolves. The strong survive because they understand that control over feelings, reputation, and perception is the real currency of power. Niceness, loyalty, and honesty, they're just masks, costumes worn to hide vulnerability, to lure the naive, and to deceive the unwary. In this dark landscape, the question is, will you continue to play the game by their rules, trying to persuade with facts, believing morality is absolute, trusting blindly and hoping for fairness? Or will you see that these are illusions designed to keep you powerless? Will you learn to wield the hidden laws of influence, manipulating emotions, controlling perceptions, and mastering the art of strategic deception? Because once you see the truth, once the blindfold falls, you can never go back to naive obedience. You'll realize that every smile, every promise, every virtue is a mask hiding a different reality. And the most dangerous truth of all? Knowledge itself is a weapon. In the wrong hands, it breeds paranoia and fear. In the right hands, it becomes unmatched power. Power to shape your destiny and bend the world to your will. So I ask you, are you ready to see beyond the illusions? To understand the dark laws that govern human behavior? To wield this knowledge as a sword and rise above the herd? Because the choice is yours. Continue to be a pawn or become the master of your own fate. The path ahead is not comfortable, but it's necessary. Because when you truly see the game, you're no longer a player. You're the one who controls the game itself. If this resonates, if you're tired of being manipulated and want to learn how to influence, dominate, and survive in a world built on deception, then subscribe now. Because what I'm about to reveal will make you untouchable, powerful beyond your wildest dreams. The question is, will you take that step? Or will you stay blind and let the world decide your fate? The choice is yours. It's a persistent sense of dread, a gnawing feeling that no matter how hard you try, you're just not enough, never powerful enough, confident enough, in control enough. Inside, there's a storm of frustration, confusion, and a deep sense of betrayal by your own mind. You've been told to be honest, kind, and fair, yet somehow, life keeps slipping through your fingers, slipping into chaos and disappointment. That's because the real pain isn't just external. It's an internal war, a clash between what you believe you should be and what you've been conditioned to accept. The dominant emotion here is shame, an intense feeling that you're inherently flawed, powerless, or unworthy. It's rooted in the idea that you're supposed to be kind, honest, and good, but your actions often fall short. You feel like you're constantly fighting a losing battle against your own instincts, the desire to dominate, to control, to influence, things society dismisses as selfish or evil. You wonder why, despite your good intentions, you're met with rejection, indifference, or manipulation. Perhaps you've experienced moments when your efforts to connect or persuade are met with confusion or outright hostility, leaving you questioning your worth. This shame grows from the experience of repeatedly being betrayed by your own emotions. Feeling vulnerable when you want to appear strong, hesitant when you crave certainty, anxious when you long for control. You carry the weight of unmet desires, respect, admiration, security, genuine influence. These core needs have been twisted by societal narratives that praise niceness over strength, kindness over power. As a result, every attempt to assert yourself feels like a gamble. You fear rejection, ridicule, or being dismissed as aggressive or unkind, which only fuels your internal turmoil. It's a vicious cycle. The more you suppress your true nature to fit into society's mold, the more you feel like a fraud, disconnected from your authentic self. This internal pain manifests in tangible ways every day. You might find yourself second-guessing every word you speak, worried that showing strength will alienate others. You catch yourself avoiding conflicts, suppressing your opinions, and shrinking into the background, all while feeling increasingly invisible and powerless. Perhaps you're plagued with self-doubt, feeling like an imposter whenever you try to lead or influence, convinced that your worth hinges on approval you can never fully attain. You notice that your relationships feel superficial. People like you, but they don't respect you. You chase validation through small acts of kindness or over-apologizing for asserting yourself. At work, you're often overlooked or passed over for opportunities because you're too nice to fight for what you want. Inside, you feel the frustration boiling, the desire to be seen, heard, and respected, drowned in a sea of self-doubt and fear. Every day, this internal ache reflects in your actions. You smile when you wish you could roar, hide your true feelings to avoid conflict, and settle for crumbs of acceptance rather than demanding the respect you deserve. You see it in the way you back down in arguments even when you know you're right, because the cost of standing firm seems too high. You're haunted by the ghost of missed opportunities, times when your silence was mistaken for weakness, your kindness for naivety, your honesty for vulnerability. Deep inside, you crave power, not just over others, but over yourself. A sense of control that can only come when you stop apologizing for who you are and start embracing your true strength. But that discomfort, that pain, it's relentless. It's the feeling that no matter how much you try to change, the internal voice whispers that you're destined to be insignificant, invisible, a pawn in a game you don't understand. It's a crushing realization that society's ideals have kept you trapped in a cycle of pleasing others at the expense of your own worth. The more you chase approval, the more distant respect feels. The more you hide behind masks of kindness, the more you feel the darkness creeping in, fear, anger, and helplessness. This is the silent agony of a man who knows there's more within him, but is afraid to unleash it, afraid to face the storm brewing behind the smile. And so, he suffers in silence, caught between the desire to be authentic and the fear of losing what little he has left. You find yourself hesitating before speaking, second-guessing every word, worried that your tone might betray your insecurity or lack of authority. In meetings, you often stay silent, even when you have valuable ideas, fearing rejection or ridicule. When others share opinions, you nod politely, but feel a surge of frustration and helplessness, wishing you could assert yourself without risking conflict or being seen as aggressive. Your decisions are clouded by this internal doubt. You avoid taking risks, settling for mediocrity rather than risking failure or confrontation. This pattern of self-censorship shapes your entire routine, making you withdraw into comfort zones where you feel safe but also invisible. You might notice yourself avoiding challenging conversations, sidestepping responsibilities that could showcase your strength, or procrastinating on important tasks because the fear of failure or judgment feels overwhelming. Over time, these behaviors reinforce your feelings of powerlessness, creating a vicious cycle that chips away at your confidence. In your relationships, this internal pain reveals itself through subtle but damaging habits. You tend to be overly accommodating, agreeing to things you don't want to do just to keep the peace. You apologize excessively, even when it's unwarranted, trying to smooth over conflicts before they escalate. This pattern leaves you feeling unseen and undervalued, as your true desires and boundaries remain unspoken. You might notice that friends or partners often take you for granted, knowing you'll never fully stand your ground. This dynamic can breed resentment, yet you suppress it, fearing that asserting yourself will push others away. As a result, you become more passive, and your relationships become superficial, built on surface politeness rather than authentic connection. Your daily routines reflect this internal struggle. You may wake up each morning with a sense of dread, already feeling the weight of unspoken frustrations. Your mornings are filled with self-doubting rituals, reviewing your to-do list, questioning whether you're capable enough to handle what lies ahead. You avoid opportunities that could lead to growth, convincing yourself you're better off staying within your comfort zone. You procrastinate on tasks that require assertiveness, preferring to delay or delegate rather than confront uncomfortable situations. When challenges arise, instead of tackling them head-on, you tend to defer or capitulate, accepting lesser outcomes just to avoid conflict or discomfort. This behavior influences your performance. At work, you might accept lower standards or settle for mediocrity because pushing for more feels risky. You might avoid promotions or opportunities for leadership, believing you're not worthy of them. Over time, this impacts your self-esteem. Each missed chance reinforces the belief that you're not good enough, that you lack the strength or courage to succeed. You notice that your confidence is fragile, easily shattered by criticism or rejection. Small setbacks become personal failures in your mind, feeding the cycle of insecurity. On a broader scale, these recurring patterns create a sense of stagnation, an internal frustration that builds into a quiet despair. You see yourself caught in a loop, where your actions are dictated by fear rather than desire, leading to days filled with regret, missed opportunities, and a persistent feeling of being trapped. The pain of feeling powerless and unseen seeps into every aspect of your life, making it harder to find joy, motivation, or purpose. It's as if you're constantly fighting a losing battle against your own tendencies, holding back your true self, hiding your potential behind layers of self-imposed limitations. And the more you try to suppress this pain, the more it manifests in these tangible, everyday symptoms, reinforcing the belief that you're destined to remain small in a world that rewards strength and control. At the core of understanding this internal pain lies the concept of the false self, an idea rooted in the work of psychologist Carl Jung. Jung proposed that many of us develop a persona, an outward mask designed to adapt to societal expectations and protect us from vulnerability. This persona becomes our primary identity, but it's often a facade, crafted to gain approval, avoid rejection, and hide our true feelings and desires. The problem arises when we become so invested in this mask that we lose touch with who we genuinely are beneath it. We start to operate primarily from this constructed identity, which is often rooted in fear, shame, and the need for external validation. This disconnect creates a profound internal conflict. Our true self, with all its raw emotions, ambitions, and authentic qualities, becomes suppressed behind layers of social conditioning. The false self acts as a protective shell, but it also becomes a prison. We convince ourselves that the mask is who we are, which fuels feelings of alienation and emptiness. We chase after validation, success, and approval, believing that these external markers define our worth. Yet deep down, there's an aching awareness that this persona is a brittle illusion, an armor that shields us from pain, but also distances us from genuine connection and fulfillment. This dissonance is what fuels the internal emotional pain, shame, frustration, and helplessness, because we feel disconnected from our true essence while desperately trying to maintain the illusion of adequacy. From this perspective, much of our suffering stems from living out of alignment with our authentic self. We become prisoners of our own creation, trying to prove ourselves in ways that never truly satisfy. The more we invest in maintaining the mask, the more disconnected we feel from our inner truth. It's like constantly wearing a costume that no longer fits, yet we cling to it because the alternative, exposing our vulnerability, is terrifying. We believe that revealing our true selves might lead to rejection, failure, or shame, so we hide behind a carefully curated persona even though it leaves us feeling hollow. The key insight here is that recognizing the existence of this false self can be liberating. When we understand that much of our pain is rooted in the dissonance between who we are and who we pretend to be, we open the door to genuine self-awareness. We begin to see that our internal suffering isn't a sign of inherent flaw, but a symptom of living out of alignment with our true nature. This realization shifts our perspective. Instead of viewing ourselves as defective or unworthy, we see our pain as a natural consequence of the masks we've adopted, masks that can be gently removed to reveal the authentic self underneath. By understanding this, we can start to question the beliefs that keep us trapped, beliefs that vulnerability equals weakness, or that authenticity will lead to rejection. We come to see that true strength lies in embracing our whole self, including our imperfections and fears. This shift in perspective offers hope. The journey from suffering to authenticity isn't about fixing ourselves, but about peeling away the layers of falsehood and reconnecting with what is real. When we do, we unlock the potential for genuine power, peace, and fulfillment, because the core of our being isn't flawed. It's beautifully authentic, waiting to be rediscovered. Imagine standing in a vast, dark forest where every path you take is shrouded in fog. You feel the weight of unseen branches pressing against you, the ground beneath uncertain and unstable. This forest symbolizes the internal landscape of the false self, a labyrinth of hidden fears, conditioned beliefs, and unspoken desires. As you navigate this maze, you cling to the faint glow of a lantern, your external persona, that offers some guidance but never illuminates the entire way. The false self is like this lantern. It provides a sense of direction and safety, yet it casts long shadows, obscuring the true terrain of your authentic existence. Every step you take with this mask on feels like a cautious dance, an attempt to avoid tripping over your vulnerabilities or revealing your raw, unfiltered self. The metaphor suggests that much of the internal pain arises from these unseen, unacknowledged parts of us, those that we keep hidden in the shadows for fear of rejection or shame. We often imagine ourselves as fragile glass, easily shattered if exposed, but perhaps a better analogy is that of a fortress built from fragile materials, delicate walls designed to keep the outside world at bay, yet so fragile that any breach causes everything inside to collapse in on itself. The fortress is the false self, protecting us from the pain of exposure, but also trapping us within a prison of our own making. The question then arises, how do we begin to dismantle this fortress without losing ourselves in the process? Reflection becomes essential. Instead of rushing to find immediate answers, we might consider the nature of our fear. What are we truly protecting, and what are we afraid to lose? Is the false self really our enemy, or simply a misguided attempt at self-preservation? Perhaps, like peeling layers of an onion, the journey involves slow, mindful exploration, acknowledging the fears and doubts beneath the persona without judgment. This process requires patience and compassion, recognizing that each layer of protection has served a purpose at some point in our lives. As we gently loosen these layers, we might begin to see that the true self isn't an endpoint, but an ongoing discovery, a fluid, evolving core that is resilient and capable of growth. The metaphor of the forest and fortress invites us to reflect. What parts of ourselves are hidden, and why? What would it mean to let go of the illusion of control and accept the vulnerability that comes with true authenticity? These questions don't demand immediate answers but beckon us toward deeper introspection. They prepare us emotionally for practical application, such as practicing honesty with ourselves and others, embracing discomfort, and cultivating self-compassion. The path ahead isn't about erasing the false self overnight, but about gently shifting our relationship with it, recognizing it as a necessary stage in our evolution rather than a permanent prison. When we allow ourselves to explore this inner landscape with curiosity rather than judgment, we open the door to genuine liberation, one step at a time, guided by awareness and compassion. In this quiet, reflective space, we begin to realize that the journey inward is not about defeating ourselves, but about rediscovering the authentic, resilient core that has always been waiting beneath the layers of fear and illusion. For many, these codes are like invisible threads pulling at our actions and perceptions, shaping our decisions without our awareness. When operating from the false self, these hidden patterns become even more pronounced, manifesting in small, almost imperceptible ways that accumulate over time. For instance, you might find yourself smiling politely in conversations where you feel irritation or frustration, hiding your true feelings behind a veneer of politeness. Or perhaps you avoid eye contact when someone challenges your opinion, instinctively retreating into silence rather than asserting yourself. These are the subtle manifestations of the inner conflict, a silent language of avoidance, compliance, and concealed vulnerability. Imagine each of these behaviors as a lock on a hidden door, a code that keeps your true self securely out of view. At first, these codes seem harmless, just social politeness or self-protection. But beneath the surface, they're part of a complex system designed to maintain the illusion of control and safety. When you act in accordance with these hidden scripts, you're essentially playing by rules you may not fully understand, keeping your authentic desires and fears locked away. Over time, this hidden language becomes so ingrained that it becomes second nature, an automatic response triggered by your internal fears. The tension builds as you realize that the very behaviors you think protect you are, in fact, the chains that keep you confined, preventing genuine connection and growth. These invisible codes also influence your choices. Every decision to avoid conflict, to compromise your boundaries, or to suppress your needs is a clue pointing to the deeper truth. They reveal a silent negotiation happening within. If I hide my true self, I will be accepted. Or, if I don't risk rejection, I won't feel the pain of abandonment. The problem is these codes are like shadow puppets, visible only in their effects but not their origins. They keep you trapped in a repetitive pattern of self-suppression where the authentic voice is drowned out by a chorus of fears and conditioned responses. As you begin to notice these subtle signs, those fleeting feelings of discomfort, the habitual avoidance, the unspoken rules, you start to see the hidden architecture of your internal prison. The tension rises. What might happen if you dared to decode these patterns? What if every smile was genuine, every boundary respected, every vulnerability embraced? The realization dawns that these invisible scripts are not fixed. They are learned, malleable, and ultimately removable. Your challenge now is to become a detective of your own inner language, to listen, observe, and question the codes that have governed you for so long. The next step is to ask yourself, what is the cost of continuing to play by these hidden rules? How much of your true power, joy, and connection are you sacrificing in silence? The answer might surprise you, because once you recognize these invisible patterns, you hold the key to rewriting them. The journey inward is a process of awakening, a gradual decoding of the silent language that keeps your authentic self hidden behind walls of fear. Are you ready to listen to what your inner world has been whispering all along? The next move is yours, to uncover the secret scripts and reclaim the story of who you truly are. For example, you might notice yourself avoiding difficult conversations, opting instead for superficial exchanges that prevent vulnerability. When someone challenges your opinion, rather than expressing your true feelings or standing your ground, you might respond with a polite smile or a quick change of subject. This behavior, an attempt to maintain harmony and avoid conflict, serves as a shield against perceived rejection or judgment, but it also deepens the cycle of suppression. Similarly, you might find yourself agreeing to plans or requests that don't truly align with your desires, simply to keep the peace or avoid confrontation. Over time, these actions become automatic, reinforcing a pattern of self-denial and emotional invisibility. Another common behavior linked to these hidden codes is the tendency to dismiss your own needs or emotions as insignificant, often rationalizing that it's not worth the trouble or others' needs come first. This pattern keeps you in a state of compliance, subtly signaling to yourself that your feelings are secondary. It also manifests in avoiding eye contact or speaking softly when feeling insecure, as if shrinking into the background to avoid drawing attention. These actions, while seemingly minor, serve to maintain the illusion of control and safety, yet they also perpetuate feelings of powerlessness and disconnection. Signs of these behaviors taking root include a recurring sense of frustration or dissatisfaction, despite outward appearances of politeness or calm. You might notice a pattern of avoiding conflicts or suppressing your true opinions, leading to feelings of internal disconnect. A sense of emotional numbness or invisibility can emerge over time, alongside a tendency to second-guess yourself or feel anxious in social settings. Physically, you may experience tightness in your chest, clenched jaw, or a habitual avoidance of eye contact, small signals that your body is responding to these internal codes. Recognizing these behaviors is the first step toward change. When you catch yourself in these moments, replying with a forced smile, agreeing to something you don't want, or withdrawing emotionally, pause and reflect. Ask, is this action aligned with my authentic self, or just a reaction to a hidden code? By observing these patterns, you create awareness of how they reinforce your internal prison. The key is to start making conscious choices, saying what you truly feel, setting boundaries, or simply allowing yourself to be vulnerable, shifting from automatic reactions to intentional behaviors. These small acts, practiced consistently, gradually break the cycle, opening space for authentic connection and self-empowerment. If a partner or friend expresses a differing opinion, instead of engaging honestly, you may respond with a polite nod or change the subject, signaling compliance rather than authentic dialogue. This behavior reinforces a dynamic where genuine connection is replaced by superficial harmony, creating a recurring pattern of emotional distance. Over time, others may begin to sense your reluctance to truly open up, leading to a cycle where they also withdraw or become cautious in their approach. You may find yourself positioning yourself as the agreeable one, avoiding conflict at all costs, which subtly shifts the power balance in relationships. The recurring dynamic often appears as a pattern of one-sided conversations, where your needs and feelings are consistently underrepresented or dismissed, fostering an environment of emotional invisibility. Social consequences become evident in feelings of loneliness or frustration, despite being surrounded by people. Others may perceive you as distant or unapproachable, which can limit deeper connections and create misunderstandings. You might also notice that conflicts are avoided or unresolved, leading to unresolved tensions that subtly erode trust over time. Observable signs include a tendency to smile politely during disagreements, to suppress your true opinions, or to withdraw emotionally when feeling vulnerable. You may also find yourself agreeing outwardly to maintain peace, but internally feeling unheard or misunderstood. The more these behaviors persist, the more others might unconsciously mirror this pattern, reinforcing a cycle of superficial interactions. Recognizing these signs is crucial. When you start noticing yourself avoiding honest conversations or feeling anxious when vulnerability arises, it's a cue to shift your approach. Small steps like expressing a genuine opinion, setting boundaries, or sharing your true feelings without fear of rejection begin to alter the dynamic. Over time, relationships can evolve from transactional or guarded to authentic and mutually supportive. Changes in positioning occur as you become more comfortable asserting your needs and engaging honestly, which invites others to do the same. The early signs of this shift include increased openness in conversations, a sense of growing trust, and shared vulnerability. These observable changes mark the beginning of breaking free from the hidden codes that once dictated your interactions, paving the way for deeper, more meaningful connections built on authenticity. Decisions in daily life are often subtly shaped by the internalized hidden codes that David Icke describes. Patterns rooted in a need to maintain control, avoid rejection, or suppress vulnerability. For instance, when faced with a choice between speaking your truth or conforming to social expectations, the tendency might be to choose the latter, opting for silence or agreement rather than authenticity. This pattern is reinforced by a belief that staying silent or compliant will keep you safe from conflict or judgment, but in reality, it tightens the internal grip of self-denial. Predictably, such choices lead to feelings of regret or frustration afterward, as you realize you've sacrificed your authentic voice for temporary peace. These patterns of decision-making influence your long-term life trajectory by gradually eroding self-trust and reinforcing a sense of powerlessness. Repeatedly choosing comfort over truth can create a cycle where you feel increasingly disconnected from your own desires and values, leading to a life filled with compromises that don't serve your highest purpose. For example, consistently avoiding difficult conversations to prevent discomfort might result in unresolved issues piling up, fostering resentment and emotional fatigue. Alternatively, opting to please others at the expense of your needs can lead to a pattern of burnout and a diminished sense of self-worth. Early signs of change begin to appear when you start noticing the moments where you default to these familiar patterns. Perhaps you catch yourself hesitating before speaking your mind or feeling a pang of guilt afterward. Recognizing these decision points is crucial. It signals that you are becoming aware of the underlying influence of the hidden codes. Small, intentional choices, such as voicing an unpopular opinion, setting a boundary, or declining a request that doesn't align with your values, serve as anchors for breaking old patterns. Over time, these acts of authenticity strengthen your capacity to make decisions aligned with your true self rather than conditioned responses. The long-term impact of this shift is profound. You begin to rebuild trust in your intuition, develop clarity about your priorities, and cultivate resilience against external pressures. Early signs of this transformation include feeling more confident in your choices, experiencing a greater sense of internal alignment, and noticing that others respond more honestly and respectfully. David Icke's insights remind us that every decision is an opportunity to challenge the hidden codes, each choice a brick in constructing a life rooted in genuine empowerment rather than subconscious control. Every behavior, reaction, or decision influenced by subconscious programming is like a thread that can be unraveled with conscious awareness and intentional effort. Early signs of change often appear subtly. A moment when you choose to speak your truth instead of remaining silent, or when you notice yourself resisting the urge to conform just to keep peace. Perhaps you catch yourself asserting a boundary you previously would have ignored, or you feel a genuine sense of relief after expressing an honest emotion. These small acts of authenticity serve as proof that the internal patterns can shift, and they become the foundation for more significant transformation. Actively cultivating awareness is essential. By observing your reactions, questioning your motives, and recognizing when you're operating on autopilot, you begin to weaken the grip of the hidden codes. This attentiveness creates space for new responses rooted in your true self, rather than conditioned habits. The more consistently you practice this mindful approach, the more natural it becomes to choose authenticity over compliance, to stand in your power rather than shrink away from it. It's important to reinforce that change is a gradual process. Each small step builds momentum toward a more liberated and conscious life. Expect that as you continue this journey, your capacity for self-awareness and self-empowerment will deepen. The confidence to challenge long-held patterns grows stronger, and you'll start noticing how your relationships, decisions, and internal dialogue reflect this positive shift. You might find yourself more open to vulnerability, more willing to navigate discomfort, and increasingly aligned with your core values. These signs affirm that transformation is underway, and they motivate you to keep moving forward. The key message is that the power to change resides within your active participation. Your awareness is the catalyst that dissolves old patterns and reveals new possibilities. With patience and persistence, you'll begin to see your life unfolding in ways that honor your true self, laying the groundwork for a future where authenticity and empowerment are your guiding principles. The next step is to embrace this potential fully, knowing that every conscious choice brings you closer to mastering your inner landscape and rewriting the story of your life. If this message resonates with you, please like and share. Your support fuels the journey of awakening and transformation. Remember, the hidden codes shaping your life are not fixed. They are patterns you can recognize, break, and rewrite. Every subtle behavior, every choice rooted in fear or conformity is an opportunity to reclaim your power and authenticity. By becoming aware of these internal scripts, you open the door to genuine connection, clarity, and freedom from subconscious control. The path to true empowerment begins with small, conscious steps, speaking your truth, setting boundaries, and choosing authenticity over automatic reactions. Each decision you make with awareness chips away at the illusion of control that has kept you confined, revealing the limitless potential within. You are not powerless. You are simply unaware of the rules that have been shaping your life. But now that changes. With every mindful moment, you gain the ability to transform patterns rooted in fear into choices driven by your highest self. This is a call to step into your true power. Right here, right now. Embrace the possibility of change, trust in your capacity to evolve, and commit to awakening the dormant strength within. The future belongs to those who dare to see beyond the surface, to challenge the hidden scripts, and to rewrite their story with intention and courage. Your journey toward authenticity and mastery starts today. Take that first step, and watch as your life begins to shift in extraordinary ways. The power to transform your reality is already within you. Are you ready to unlock it? Now is the moment to act. Like this message, share it, and step boldly into the life you're truly meant to live. No matter how deeply ingrained the patterns of doubt, fear, or conformity may seem, they do not define who you truly are. Every moment offers a fresh opportunity to break free from the illusions that have kept you small and confined. Your potential to transform your experience is limitless, and the power to rewrite your story lies in your hands. You are not your past mistakes or the masks you've worn. You are a resilient, capable being, capable of incredible growth and authenticity. Imagine a life where you no longer hide behind social masks, but stand fully in your truth, empowered and clear. That future begins today, with one simple choice: to believe in your ability to change and to take inspired action. Every step you take towards awareness, honesty, and self-love is a victory, a declaration that you refuse to be controlled by fear or societal expectations. Remember, the obstacles you face are not the end of your journey. They are just lessons guiding you toward your highest self. You hold the key to unlocking your true power and creating a life filled with purpose, authenticity, and joy. Believe in your capacity to evolve and trust that your transformation is already underway. The future is bright, and your potential is infinite. This is your moment to step into that possibility, to embrace hope, and to ignite the change you wish to see. Like and share if you feel inspired, because your awakening can inspire others too. The power to transform your life is already within you. Are you ready to claim it? The time to act is now. It all comes down to awareness and the conscious decision to break free from limiting patterns. Your life is a reflection of the choices you make every day, choices that can either keep you trapped or propel you toward growth, authenticity, and fulfillment. Never forget, The power to change your story is always within your grasp. It starts with a single decision, to step into your truth and embrace your inherent strength. Now, I invite you to take that step today. If this message resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment of inspiration and awakening. Every video is a new opportunity to deepen your understanding and expand your power. Your journey toward mastery begins with a single action, your choice to stay committed, to learn, and to grow. This is your moment to claim your true potential. Trust that within you lies the capacity to transform any situation, to rewrite your story, and to live a life aligned with your highest purpose. The future belongs to those who dare to choose differently, to see beyond illusions, and to forge their own path. So, take that step now. Subscribe, ring the bell, and prepare for the next chapter of your transformation. Remember, your power is already here, waiting for you to activate it. The time to act is now. Step into your greatness and create the life you deserve.